Hello everyone, welcome to this Docker session in which we are going to look into how we can pull an image, list down all the images which are downloaded on our local or Docker host, and if any image is not required, then how we can remove that image, then rename it if it required. And let's say if you want to push any image to your Docker Hub account, in that case you need to authenticate your Docker Hub account, then only you can push it. Okay, so how do you authenticate it? And how do we push it, and at the end we are going to look how we can pull a private image at our end. Okay, so this is the agenda for this entire session. Let's look into this practically. Okay, do we have any Docker image available on or not? For that matter, we can execute this command docker image ls. This is going to list down all the images that we have downloaded on our Docker host, but as of now we are not getting any output. That means there is no image available at our end. Okay, so let's pull any image. My favorite image is Nginx because when I started my Docker journey, so I have used this Nginx image quite a lot. So that's why every time I need to play with any image, I'll prefer Nginx over here. So Nginx image got downloaded successfully, and if you see, I haven't provided any tag over here. So that's where every time if you every time if you pull any image, and if you don't provide any tag, then the default tag associated with the image will be a latest. Okay, you can see if I push one more time with, let's say, a latest tag, it will not download from the Docker Hub because this image with a latest tag is already available on our local system. So that's where we are getting images up to date for this. That's why it has not been downloaded one more time. Let's check the list of image that we have available with us now. Nginx, we got it with a latest tag, and this is the latest tag and image ID. And this image was updated 2 weeks back with size 187 MB. Okay. So this is how we can pull any image, uh, not any, but a public image. Okay, there are two types of image actually. One is like public image and one is like private image. Public image, we can pull it without any authentication, but for pulling a private image, we definitely need authentication. So as of now, we are playing with public images only. Okay, private images are mainly for project related purpose, company specific images. Those are not shareable with any other unwanted person. Okay, but the images which we have, which we are working currently, are available on the Docker Hub. Docker Hub is nothing but you can consider a registry where all the images are stored. Okay, so you can go to the hub.docker.com, and if you search Nginx within this, you will get to see lot many options related to this Nginx image. Okay, so this is the official Docker image. Okay, so we will always play with official Docker image, and this was updated 12 days ago. That's where we saw like 2 weeks back. And if you just click on this Docker official images, and you will see a multiple information, lot of information over here with different tags. As I was suggesting, saying like latest is the default tag if you don't provide, but these are the multiple tags associated with it. Like let's say in our Nginx image, by default Perl is not installed. So if you want to install Perl as well apart from Nginx web server, then you have to make use of this tag. Okay, so likewise there are different tags. Alpine is a tag which will help us in reducing the size of the image. If you want your image size should be as less as possible, in that case you can always make use of this Alpine as one of the tag. Okay, so let me show you few things out of it. We have Docker image ls of 187 MB. Let's pull one more image with a different tag. Let's consider tag as this Alpine one. So these are nothing but different versions of Nginx image. Okay, but at the end, Nginx will already means Nginx web server will always be there in each of the image. So if you just list down, you can see this the Alpine image is having only 42 MB and the normal image is having 187 MB. So this is how we can always reduce the size of image by making use of the Alpine. But make sure like all the packages that are there within the this latest tag will not be there in Alpine. Alpine will have very minimum, rarely, very minimum packages that are required to execute the I mean to say Nginx process. That's where if you are strictly looking only for Nginx process to be executed within the container, then you can go ahead with Alpine and this normal image is having most of the packages. Okay, so that is the major difference over here. So that's where you can see the difference in the size of like this is almost the 4 or 5 times of the image. Now let's say if I have to delete any image which is not required at my end, I can definitely do so with the help of rm command. I can provide the image ID or I can provide this image name as well. If I say directly hit enter now, then in that case, this image will get deleted because if I'm not providing any tag, then always a latest tag will get picked up and this image will get deleted. If I have to delete this image, in that case, I have to provide the tag as well. Okay, so in that way, I can delete this image and I'm just having only one image in my local Docker host now. Okay, so this is how we can delete it. Now let's create a container from our Nginx image. Okay, Docker run -d. Let's give it a name as C1 and let's create it from the Nginx. Let's see, do we got any container or not? One container got created 7 seconds back with the name as C1. And now if I try to delete this Nginx image, you will see one problem over here. Okay, that the image that we are trying to delete is being used by one of the container and that container is nothing but ending with AF container ID. So that's where Docker will not allow us to delete this image until and unless we delete this container. So first of all, we need to delete a container, then only we can go ahead and delete this image. Otherwise, this image will not get deleted. So let's delete a container. Then let's delete this image. So you can see we don't get any error now while deleting it because the container associated with that image is now deleted. Okay, so that is how we can delete it. So let's pull it one more time. Let's say if you directly go ahead and create a container, if you don't have image on the Docker host, still y- you can create container because there is no requirement of pulling a image for creating a container. Okay, because let's say let me show you by creating a container directly. As of now, I don't have any Nginx image available with me, and if I try to create a container, okay, even though this image is not available, so that's what the message is unable to find locally. It means this image is not on the Docker host. It's not pre-pulled. Okay, so that's where it is trying to pull it first, and once the pull got successful, it will create a new container out of it. Okay, so image pull is a task which we can skip as well because while creating a container, automatically image will get pulled. You can see this Nginx image we got one more time because we have just created a container. And if you create a container for the very second time, in that case, this is not going to pull it because Nginx is already available on our local Docker host. Okay. So this is how, in which case the image will get pulled, in which case image will not get pulled. I hope this is clear. Now, let's see how we can pull a private image. Okay, because private image are very specific to a project or a very specific to a company, and those people all are not, or those people won't share that images with everyone within the public. Okay, so that's where the person who want to pull a private image, he or she need to be authenticated first, then only they can pull it. So let me go to the Docker Hub and sign in. So I have already account over this Docker Hub with username as Subodh Dere and password as deops@11. Let me log into this my account, Docker Hub account. And do we have any images available with me? This is the KTS demo which I have used it for my Kubernetes sessions. So you can skip it. Let's say if I have to push any image to my Docker Hub account, okay? So what I have to do, let's say. So which image I have as of now, Docker image ls, and over here Nginx is a public image, so I don't need any authentication. But while pushing any image to my Docker Hub account, I definitely need authentication. For that matter, you need to log in to the Docker Hub. Okay, so Docker login is a command to log into the Docker Hub, hub.docker.com. You can see. Let's provide username as Subodh Dere, password as deops@11, and definitely I'll get, okay, maybe incorrect password. Let me try one more time. Okay, so with correct password, I got logged in successfully over here. Okay, and these passwords, keep in mind for interview, these passwords and username will always get saved under this .docker config JSON. Okay, if I show you the content of this file, you will get to see that we have logged into this Docker Hub account with these credentials. These credentials are not readable right now because those are base64 encoded. If you want to see the real content behind it, you have to decode this content first with the help of base64 hyphen d. Hyphen d stands for decode, and you can see the username is Subodh Dere and the password associated with that username is deops@11. So some hacker, if they got access to this Docker host, so definitely they can look into this file and get credentials of the Docker Hub as well. So one suggestion over here, like whenever if you log into the Docker Hub account to push any image to your account, in that case, once you are done with that, just do the Docker logout. So once you do the Docker logout, all the credentials from this JSON file will get removed. Now, if I do the cat, you can see auth, it's blank. So Docker logout will always remove the credentials from this file. Let me log in one more time. And now I want to push image, this Nginx image to my Docker Hub account. So I can change the name as well if I want. Let's say I want to rename it to Subodh-Nginx. I can do that with the help of Docker image tag, and the first name is like Nginx, and this is like source, and destination is like which name I want to keep it, or second name, which second name I have to associate it with this Nginx image. So let's say Subodh Nginx colon v1. I can say anything over here. Okay, it's up to me. And if you see one more image we have, but don't worry, this is not a new image. This is just a one more name that we have given to this Nginx image. Okay, because If two images are having same image ID, it means they are identical. Now let's push this image to the my Docker Hub account. Okay, but one more catch: only by giving a name will not be sufficient over here. We have to provide a name of our Docker Hub account as well. So let me create one more image. Okay, so this is mandatory. My Docker Hub account user is Subodh Dere, so that's where I need to provide it. Otherwise, normally if you try to push this image, it will not get pushed. Okay, you have to give this prefix. Okay, so we got one more image over here, and let's try to push this image now. How do we push it? Docker image push, and this entire name of the image. So it is preparing, and definitely within 1 or 2 minutes it will get pushed to my Docker Hub account. So it is mounted from library. Okay, this is the output that we are getting, and we got success over here. Let's see if it is really pushed to my Docker Hub account or not. Let me refresh this page, and you can see one more image we got, subodh-nginx, and the tag that we have given is v1 over here. Okay, let's say I want to give one more tag like v2. I can definitely give it. For that matter, let me create one more name to that image and push it one more time. Okay, so as this image was already exist on my Docker Hub account, that's where this time it got pushed easily in no time. Okay, you can see we got a tag v1 as well, tag v2 as well. Okay, so each and everything that we have done is basically for the public images. Okay, so where do you see which is the public image and which is the private image? Definitely you will get to see on this option. So as of now, by default, all images are public. That's where public is, you can see public over here as well. What if you want to pull a private image? Okay, this is very important to understand. Okay, if you want to pull a private image, you need authentication. Okay, so let's make this image a private image first. Click on this image, then settings, and then make this private, give it a name, and now this repository like subodh-nginx and all their tags are now private. Okay, and now if you want to pull this private image, definitely you need some authentication. So let me show you with practical. Let me log out first so that my credentials will be removed from the JSON file, and docker image ls. Let me delete other images which are not required so that things will be very easy to understand. Let me delete this. Okay, there is one container running. Okay, docker ps. Let me delete c1 c2, and let's delete this reference multiple repositories. Okay, it's not possible uh, with this because okay, let me show you why it's not possible, because this is the same image id associated with the four images, so that's where we are not able to delete with image id. We have to delete it with the repository name and tag. Okay, so let me do this way. So everything, only we have the nginx image, nothing else. Now let's pull our image which we have just uploaded to the Docker Hub account. Okay, so this is the image which we have just uploaded. So let me pull it. This is the image name, and I'll push a v1. You can try for V2 as well, not an issue. And you can see this image belongs to my account. That's where I have to provide this. Otherwise, no one will come to know this image belongs to which account. So that's where we have to provide it. And we got an error that Docker login is required because this is a private image. If it is a public image, definitely we don't need any Docker login. But if it is a private image, we need a Docker login. Okay, let me show you one more time. Example, we have this KTS demo. Okay, this KTS demo is a public image. Okay, even though it is in my account, but it is a public image which having V1, V2, V3. Let me try to pull that. Let's say V1. So you can see I don't have any problem in pulling a image, even though it is in my account, but it is a public image. So that's where we don't have any problem in pulling it. But when I tried for this both Nginx, which is the private one, it will ask for the authentication. So let's do the Docker login one more time. And once the Docker login is successful, then you can try for pulling a private image and you will get to see the image got pulled successfully over here. This you can pull a V2 as well, not an issue. We got both the images on our local system, even though those are the private images, but still we managed to pull it with the help of Docker login, which is nothing but an authentication. So I hope all the topics that we have discussed so far over here are understood. If you have any doubts, please comment in. Okay, and if you really like the content which I'm sharing, feel free to subscribe to our channel and share with your friends. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.